In the fourth quarter, Ottawa's back in it. Edmonton leads 16-8. We'll be back with the kickoff in a moment. Dean Dorsey has put the Ottawa Roughriders right back in the ballgame. You very seldom see a stat like that, 2 out of 5 for Dorsey, but he had 1 block, hit the upright on 2 other ones, and now he's been good on his last 2. And Ottawa is hanging in there, trailing 16-8. And the Eskimos are not going to take a chance on returning a kickoff. They're going to play it from their 35-yard line. They lead it by 8 points. Oh, the catch is made right on the sideline. A fine grab by Stephen Jones at the Ottawa 53-yard line. Will Lewis forced him out. And, boy, you talk about dropping a pass in there. Watch this one.
Well, they had good coverage, too. A rolled-up corner zone defense, and that time the receiver gets right in between Will Lewis and number 18, Calvin Lovell. And, boy, Pat, you're so absolutely right. What a perfect throw. They call that pass pattern a fade. They say when you see that corner roll up, you just fade around the outside, and we're going to hit you quick with it.
This is Chris Kinner trying to get to the outside, but had trouble as the corner closed down on him. Calvin Lovell, number 18, was there to make the tackle as he gets inside the 50 to about the 48 for a pickup of 4. Matt Dunnigan has completed 20 of 34 for 330 yards, and he's rushed 8 times for 61, so he's very close to the 400-yard mark himself in generating total offense today. Second down, 6 yards to go, Eskimos. Skinner makes the catch, and he's finally brought down and forced out of bounds at the 33-yard line again by Calvin Lovell. But it's amazing how the Eskimos do respond in the fourth quarter.
Well, they really have, and a good read by Dunnigan that time. Ottawa deep in the zone. Alex Troop, the rookie linebacker, out there on that side, and he got the good deep drop, but that means you can dump the ball off, and Chris Skinner made an easy catch and picked up an easy first down.
There was an interesting survey in Edmonton this past week. They asked, it was totally, they just asked people in the street, who would you watch if it was on television, the Edmonton Eskimos or the Edmonton Oilers? And the majority of people said they'd watch the Eskimos.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, at this time of the year. Mind you, it's understandable because the Eskimos have had a great year and are now coming down to the playoffs in super position, as Roy Swope made the tackle on Milson Jones. But I found it very interesting. So the Canadian Football League is well in Western Canada, and it will generate a lot of interest from now till the end of the season in Eastern Canada as well, as the battle for first place between Hamilton and Toronto continues tomorrow at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto when the Alouettes come to call. An Argo win, and they move back into first place, but they do not clinch it. Dunnigan still has the ball under pressure from the middle linebacker, but he keeps it and dives for the first down to the 21-yard line. Henry Taylor was in on Dunnigan, but he couldn't catch up to him. And Dunnigan, who just loves a situation like that where he can do it on his own, gets the first down.
What a great play he made. They were going for the big one to Marco Sincar, who was lined up as a tight end in that short yardage situation, but good coverage downfield dictated that Matt Dunnigan run with it, and wow, what a job he did.
So the Eskimos from the Ottawa 22 have a first down. And the pass was, well, it just couldn't be handled by Chris Skinner. Coming into the ball game for Ottawa is Greg Miller, another one of their young Canadian prospects. Miller from Concordia University. He comes in, and going out is number 27, Jerome Erdman. Second and 10. Let's watch Matt Dunnigan on this, a big play. His club out in front, 16-8. They could salt it away now. And look at this. Dunnigan will have the first down, battles his way to the goal line, then drops the football, and Ottawa recovers at the 1. Dunnigan was so intent on getting to the end zone.
Greg Miller, number 10. You see him on your screen right there. Boy, just as Dunnigan was going to chalk up the 6 points, the ball popped loose, and linebacker Greg Miller will make the recovery. I don't know.
He just came onto the field to play prior to this.
Yeah. Watch this. The big hit. The ball's up in the air, and Greg. Boy, oh boy. I mean, the guy in the scoreboard was already putting the 6 up.
But, you know, it's so like Matt Dunnigan. I mean, he could have run the ball out of bounds, would have had the first down, but he said, no, I'm going to stick it in the end zone. I've got a chance. But on a day like this, anything can and often does happen.
Well, Greg Miller in his first year from Concordia.
The handoff goes inside as Gilbert Renfro comes in to quarterback the Rough Riders. Stop is made by that entire front four of the Eskimos. Renfro really does have a gun for an arm, and Tommy Dimitrov, realizing that they're down by 8 points with 3:10 left to play in the ball game, he'd like to put this one up and see if they can't chew up some yardage. They're really in a bind at their 5-yard line, and if they don't get the first down here, you cannot like their chances of getting much closer. Lovely day in Ottawa, though, isn't it?
If you're a Duck.
Renfro's pass is caught by Glenn Steele for a very important first down for the Rough Riders. Phil Jones makes the tackle, but that brings us to 2:46 left to play in the ball game.
Well, Gilbert Renfro, who is the purest thrower of the 3 Ottawa quarterbacks, steps up and throws a beautiful strike, and Glenn Steele makes his second catch of the game.
16-8, Edmonton leads it. We'll be back for the final 2:46 in just a moment. Well, tomorrow we'll be at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto to watch the Montreal Alouettes do battle with the Argos in a very important game for the Argos. Right now, the Ottawa Rough Riders are still in this one. They have the ball at their own 20-yard line with a first down. Renfro looks, fires deep for Mark Lewis, and the ball goes incomplete. Good coverage for the Edmonton Eskimos by Greg Harding.
Yeah, I don't know why they insist on trying to beat him deep. They've done that, tried to do it about 3 times today, and every time he's been in better position to make the catch than the receiver.
And with all kinds of time left, 2:31 left to play, they've got more than enough time to march the ball down the field with 10 and 12-yard pickups.
Well, it's the kind of position where the good teams say, well, listen, we got this amount of time left. Let's just grind it out down the field with a short ball control passing game, and we'll get down there and score. Not that you don't need the deep one right away.
Renfro's pass is caught, and a good one by Clorindo Grilly, who has the first down over the 30 to the 32. Ron Howard made the stop, but not before Grilly picked up 13 yards.
Well, he's made some big catches this afternoon, and none bigger than this one, because second and long, 2nd and 10, as a matter of fact. He comes over the middle, makes a good catch, picks up the first down, and once again, another good throw by Gilbert Renfro.
When we have seen Clorindo Grilly in this Ottawa offense, he's been impressive. He's a graduate of McMaster University, playing his first year in the CFL, and gets a nice round of applause from those that are still here. And amazingly, these Ottawa fans have hung in well. It's been a miserable, miserable second half from a weather point of view, and they're still here. Well, Renfro looked, couldn't find anybody open, and then Mandrich hits him, and the ball is knocked out of bounds by an Edmonton Eskimo, but Ottawa will retain possession.
They're ruling that number 29, Jeff George, the defensive back, was the last one to touch it. He actually batted the football out of bounds, and they're going to give possession to the Edmonton Eskimos. Watch as Gilbert Renfro rolls out of the pocket. He's going to cut up. The ball is stripped loose by number 75, John Mandrich. You're going to see 29, Jeff George here. He just bats it out of bounds, and they get possession. That's all you have to do in the Canadian Football League.
And the ball right now is at the 44-yard line with 1:56 left. They allowed Will Lewis to come in and then just dumped it off to Milson Jones, but he's dropped by Henry Taylor, the middle linebacker, and Roy Swope, number 59, the outside linebacker, after a pickup of maybe a couple of yards.
Well, that's a good call by Matt Dunnigan. He would expect at this stage now that Ottawa would have to gamble somewhat on defense and maybe send some people blitzing, and that's a great play then, just to dump it off to your running back, get him one-on-one. Royce Swope made a good tackle, but they still got it off and avoid the blitz. That's the key thing.
2nd and 8, Eskimos. The Ottawa line moved. Now, was Ottawa drawn off, or did they just jump offside themselves?
Well, Greg Marshall was pointing to Rudy Phillips.
The call. It's a procedure penalty against Edmonton.
Procedure 6-7.
Rod Conop, number 67, the left guard.
Edmonton, number 67. 2nd down repeated.
Called by 59 only.
And since this is the last time we'll be with brother Bill Marsden, our spotter here in Ottawa and Montreal, want to thank him for his great contribution in 1986. As Matt Dunnigan looks deep, looking for Stephen Jones. He made a great play to adjust to the football, but then when it got to him, he dropped it.
Yeah, it would have been a great catch, but you know, all the good receivers are able to do that. Guys like James Murphy, Emmanuel Tolbert, Ray Alexander, James Hood, they all have that ability to, once they see the ball's a little underthrown, to cut back underneath the defensive back. This time it's Will Lewis, and boy, Stephen Jones made the great adjustment. He just couldn't hang on.
So Dixon is in to punt, because this will be, if he can get a single out of this, it puts the game out of reach with 1:25 showing on the clock.
Of course, Jerome Erdman's just received instructions from the bench, and you could see by his hand actions he has to get it out.
Well, it's not going to, you don't have to worry about that, because the ball bounces at the 18 down to Jerome Erdman, who takes it at the 5. And he turns it upfield. He's still on the playing surface, but he stepped out at the 18-yard line with 1:11 left to play in the ball game. So Ottawa clings to life here, trailing by 8 points.
Well, Jerome Erdman's had a pretty big day. 2 fumble recoveries, played some defense, and did a nice job returning that punt of Tom Dixon.
Well, having spoken to the Ottawa coaching staff and their general manager, they like what Erdman can do for them. He can play offense, he can play defense. He's a guy they certainly look forward to bringing back next year. Mark Lewis makes the catch and has the first down and gets out of bounds at the 31-yard line. A pickup of 13. Well, that's what they've got to do. Just be patient. Got lots of time. Stop the clock when you get the opportunity. And see what happens.
Well, in that zone defense with the inside safety, tries to slide out and get underneath that out pattern, but that time Jeff George was concerned with bumping Glenn Steele, so he couldn't get out in time, and Mark Lewis makes an easy catch. And boy, if they can keep hitting some pass plays like that, they can just go right down the field. But stay with those medium range ones. Don't try and get it all at once.
Renfro in trouble, throws the screen to Robert Reed. And he's got good speed. He made an outstanding move. About 2 or 3 of them to get to the 20-yard line. Phil Jones finally brings him down. But what a wonderful run by Robert Reed of 59 yards.
Wow, this is just a great individual effort. He got a couple of good blocks at the point of attack. Brad Fawcett was out there, but now it's all on his own. Great speed. I didn't think Robert Reed had that kind of speed, but obviously he does. Watch the move here on Greg Harding. Cuts back, and well, that's just a great individual effort.
So Ottawa may well be coming down to what they did against Winnipeg. And again, they throw the screen. This one is to Jim Reed, and he does get it out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. He doesn't get out?
I don't believe so. The official's marking his foot that he still stayed in bounds, so Ottawa will have to hurry and get up over the football. They've got 33 seconds left. I don't believe that.
Now time is whistled in. You're right. It's now 31 seconds left.
Now
And Ottawa now takes a timeout.
I think this is a good move right here. 32 seconds left. You've got a critical 2nd and 5 situation. They want to pick up that first down and get sorted out now on the sidelines just as to what their attack's going to be. So smart move to take the timeout right here rather than save it.
Gilbert Renfro has completed 5 of 6 for 103 yards. But isn't it amazing? Football is such a strange game. You would anticipate that teams like Winnipeg and Edmonton would run roughshod over Ottawa. Winnipeg comes in here 3 weeks ago and are life and death to beat the Rough Riders. Edmonton, with everything at stake for them to clinch first place, are life and death to win this one, and may not.
Well, Jackie Parker, of course, feeling the pressure of this. He wants to wrap it up today, get it over, clinch that first place. Isn't it funny in the cab, or in Brother Bill Marston's car on the way over to the stadium today, I suggested that we haven't done an overtime game yet this year, but with a touchdown and a 2-point convert, we may very well see it.
31 seconds left to play in the ball game. Edmonton 16, Ottawa 8. 2nd down. 6 yards to go. Ottawa, the ball at the Edmonton 16-yard line. To the end zone for Mark Lewis. Touchdown, Ottawa. And so the Rough Riders do it again.
Well, their work's not finished for them. That's only the first part that they have to take care of, and it's a great touchdown catch by Mark Lewis, his 4th of 1986. Good concentration, and boy, he dropped a couple earlier, but that time, no mistaking, he hung on, and this is a great throw by quarterback Gilbert Renfro. You've got to put a lot of air time on this ball so the receiver can get deep downfield, and that's a perfect throw. But here we go with the 2-pointer.
2 points is good to Glenn Steele. And we are all tied up with 26 seconds left. And again, credit the Ottawa quarterback, Gilbert Renfro, with great presence of mind. He had a stiff arm that knocked off the intended tackler. And then, still looking downfield, he spots Glenn Steele. And what a terrific performance by Gilbert Renfro as he comes on here late in the 4th quarter to complete 7 of 8 for 123 yards. And let's not forget that this was a 92-yard drive.
Well, he fights off number 43, Craig Schaefer, and Glenn Steele, from almost the moment the ball was snapped and Renfro was rolling out, was waving his arms. He was wide open in the end zone. None of the Eskimo defenders were able to locate or see Glenn Steele, and give Gilbert Renfro credit. He makes a perfect strike. And, well, could be overtime.
I should have known when the spy mentioned that it could happen.
Well, not to be prophetic, but gosh.
And, I mean, there isn't enough you can say about the preparation that the Ottawa coaching staff, led by Tom Dimitrov, has done in getting this club ready and getting them pumped up sufficiently to come in and provide this kind of an effort.
And, of course, if we do end up in overtime, for all you folks at home, we haven't seen it a great deal this year, we will play 2 5-minute halves. Not sudden death, 2 5-minute halves.
Dean Dorsey will kick it off for Ottawa. And the Eskimos' Tom Richards gets to about the 35-yard line before he's brought down by Greg Miller. And Greg Miller had a very prominent role in this because it was he who recovered Matt Dunnigan's fumble down around the goal area. And that was a touchdown that would have salted it away for the Eskimos.
Well, let's just set the stage for you now. There's 23 seconds left, and with Matt Dunnigan, a quarterback, you know, they're at their 35-yard line. I think they've got a shot to get Dixon in range.
Oh, no question about it. They only need a single point. And Dunnigan scampers out of bounds at about the 37-yard line, and he paid for that one. Jerome Erdman cut him down just as he was stepping out. Look at Matt. Just another day at the office.
Well, he's a gamer. I think that play might have done it for them, though. If he'd have been able to hit somebody downfield in a 15-yard range or so, they might have had a shot, but I think it would be very difficult with only 16 seconds now.
Well, for sure, they've got 2 plays, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, I think they got 2 plays.
And that one is broken up by Calvin Lovell and very nearly intercepted with 8 seconds left on the clock. Now, there were 14,058 announced as the paid attendance here at Lansdowne Park. I'm sure 4,000 of them have gone home, so we're talking 10,000 people, and it sounds like we're in with about 80,000 in the Houston Eskimos.
Well, they're excited here. The Ottawa Rough Riders, of course, have battled back to tie it up. Matt Dunnigan, he's had a great day, and boy, you're so right. You know, if there was a turning point in this game, it sure came late when apparently Matt Dunnigan was going to have a touchdown. The ball came loose, and Greg Miller made the fumble recovery.
So on 3rd down, the Eskimos have to punt it. We are heading for overtime, barring something really wild here. Ball is fielded by Jerome Erdman, who steps out at the 33-yard line, and that will do it. The gun sounds to end regulation time. Oh, boy, who could have prophesied this one? Edmonton 16, Ottawa 16. The CFL on CTV will continue in a moment with overtime. Gilbert Renfro was the man who engineered this tie. He threw the touchdown strike, and then watch this 2-point conversion.
Well, he really made a great play to get outside a stiff arm on Craig Schaefer, who defensively has played well today, and then what a anxiety build up for Glenn Steele in the end zone because he was open for such a long period of time. Sometimes you tend to tense up a little bit when that ball is finally coming into you, but he made no mistake, and he's really been a bright offensive performer here for the Ottawa Rough Riders this afternoon.
Now, let's explain this overtime to you. It is 2 5-minute halves. There will be 2 kickoffs, one right now to start the overtime. At the end of 5 minutes, regardless of where the ball is, then we have another kickoff.
And, of course, might add, too, that stop time occurs in the last minute of each 5-minute half.
Had this been a year ago, this tie would have clinched first place for the Eskimos.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
do not have it right now.
Well, I'm a big booster of overtime. I think it's exciting. You know, it's like kissing your sister playing all this time for a tie.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, you'll probably not be surprised to know the Ottawa bench is a very different place to be right now. But what happened that was really interesting late in the 4th quarter, after Robert Reed's big run to put the club within scoring range, the club acted as if nothing had happened, almost as if they were afraid to hope. They were looking away from the field. Conversations continued. It wasn't until they got the ball in the end zone that this bench exploded.
Well, they're going to receive the opening half kickoff for this overtime session. Here's the way the score went. It was scoreless after 1 quarter. 6-4 Edmonton at halftime. 16-4 Eskimos in the third at the end of 3 quarters of play. And in their most productive quarter of the year, the 4th quarter, the Eskimos did not score. It sure looked like they were going to, but Matt Dunnigan was hit as he was trying to get into the end zone, fumbled the ball, and the result was the 16-16 tie as Ottawa marched all the way down the field.
Well, I'm sure the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are sitting back watching this game very closely and breathed a sigh of relief when Glenn Steele hauled in that 2-point conversion. They, of course, trail the Eskimos by 2 points in the standings.
Great kickoff. It was taken by Brad Califf at the 10-yard line. And Califf, running like he's possessed, gets over the 40 to the 42-yard line, finally brought down there by Phil Jones. But Ottawa will start in pretty good field position at their 42.
Well, this does not look like a team that only won 3 games all season long. They're playing relaxed. They're playing with emotion. And you know what?